the Bliss Business Podcast, the show about empathy, connection, and consciousness in business. Today's episode is brought to you by Zero Company, your paid search, social media, and programmatic ad experts.
Welcome to the Marketing with Purpose Kit, where we explore what it really takes for marketing leaders to create impact that goes beyond the numbers. I'm Michele. In each episode, I sit down with CMOs to explore their leadership approach and strategies that drive performance and resonate with their audience. Together, we'll dive into what's working, what's not, and how purpose and empathy can transform the way brands connect with people. Let's get started. Today, I'm joined by Laura Rice, Chief Marketing Officer at Celebree School under Huffman Family Brands. Laura brings more than 28 years of marketing experience across multiple industries, including real estate auctions, government contracts, consumer products, and a decade in K-12 and higher education. In her current role, she leads marketing and execution across the entire Celebree portfolio, with a focus on driving franchise awareness, expanding the network, and ensuring consistent brand visibility. We're going to explore breaking down silos across teams today. Laura, before we dive in, I'd love to hear, why was breaking down silos across teams the topic you chose to explore with us today, and what makes it so important right now?
Thanks, Michele. I'm really glad to be here. I wanted to focus on breaking down silos because it's imperative to understand that silos really slow growth. They often create duplication, miscommunication, and even mistrust among teams. And in today's environment where we have fast growth and a lot of times people are working from home, silos are more visible and damaging than ever. This isn't about structure. It's really about emotional intelligence. Silos are rarely solved by org charts or more meetings. They're solved through trust, empathy, and a shared sense of purpose. Here at Celebree, we focus on franchise growth, and that really depends on the alignment between the marketing team, franchise development, and our local operators. To support that, we've built cross-functional dashboards, and we hold joint strategy sessions so everyone is aware of the goals and are on the same page. That transparency creates accountability, but even more importantly, it builds trust. And I love to say that, breaking down silos is less about tearing down walls. It's really about building bridges where those gaps are.
Yeah, exactly. And I also believe it creates more innovation and a much higher, not just employee satisfaction, but customer satisfaction too.
Absolutely.
So CMOs are often pulled between short-term campaign results and long-term brand strategy. How do you ensure your marketing stays aligned with the company's growth goals, and where do you find the biggest friction points in making that happen?
Yeah, I would say this isn't just unique to CMOs. This is something that happens with all marketers. It's a constant education out there with people who are not in the marketing department or the marketing world. A strong marketing strategy always ties back to our three pillars here, which is enrollment, franchise development, and brand trust. Like you said, the real challenge is balancing that near-term campaigns that drive immediate enrollment with that long-term brand storytelling, especially for an emerging brand that builds equity over the years. Both are essential. Quick wins to keep momentum, and the brand foundation ensures sustainability and relevance in the world. I like to think of it as a portfolio approach. Some initiatives deliver results today and others are for tomorrow. For example, we've paired local digital campaigns with that generate inquiries with national thought leadership. We're always looking for thought leadership and other things that we can do to build that credibility. And I love when people come up to me and say, "Oh, we're see you everywhere. Like Celebree's everywhere." And that makes me know that my team and we're doing a great job here of getting our name out there and building that brand. But the mix that I just talked about has helped us grow in the moment while also strengthening our brand for future markets because we're still looking to grow. The biggest friction, I would say, is the tension between the revenue pressure, give me the results now, and the patience for brand building. So if your brand is only chasing the clicks, you'll miss customers. If you're only worried about building your brand, you'll miss cash flow. So you really need to build both of those into your success story.
Yeah. Great answer.
Thanks.
In high-stakes situations like a brand crisis or market downturn, how do you maintain a sense of purpose and empathy while making quick strategic decisions?
In high stakes situation, I always go back to our mission here. And I think here we're everybody is focused on the brand mission. So it's just what our culture is. So for us, it's very easy. It's nurturing children and families where we grow people big and small, which is what we always say. It's our North Star for all decision making. Speed matters, but it can't come at the expense of transparency and empathy. It's also critical to always know your audience, to be able to put yourself in their shoes. A challenge at the school level might call for immediate parent-focused communication, while a broader issue requires consistent brand-wide messaging. Even when you can't control the situation, like macroeconomic shifts, you can control how you show up for your customers. So for us during COVID, for instance, I know it's been 5 years now, but still it was a big deal here. And we sent daily reassurance updates to parents, focusing on safety and care rather than the logistics of everything. That built trust and loyalty, and that carried forward with our enrollments and our franchise growth, which is great. In the end, owning the mistakes, adapting with clarity, and leading with empathy creates resilience. In a crisis, people don't just remember what you did, they remember how you made them feel. And I really think this is true in any situation.
Yeah, and that long-term loyalty that's built is also one of the best forms of like referral, right? And word of mouth marketing.
Absolutely. And we're in here today. Everybody at 2:00 is presenting on creating super fans. So we're all divided up into teams. I don't know if you've heard of that book, but how can we create super fans here? Because all the things that we want will come naturally, referrals and growth and all of those good reviews. So it just pays off to do the right thing in the moment. Every time.
100%. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Can you share a time when customer feedback or behavior data completely shifted your campaign direction and what that taught you about balancing intuition with analytics?
Sure, of course. We talk about this all the time here. Some of our most impactful strategy shifts have come directly from parent feedback. We have our enrollment center located in our corporate office, so we're very aware and in tune with everything that's happening on calls. And data can show you patterns, but real human feedback is essential, and it really provides that depth, and we can turn things into meaningful action. So here we create surveys, we have conversations, and it revealed to us that parents aren't just focused on academics, they're really worried and care about their child's emotional development. So that insight really helps shift our messaging in advertising to focus on that social emotional growth in the whole child and building confidence. The result was clear, and we've had an uptick in enrollment inquiries, and we've really shifted a lot of things within the schools that go align with that, because it's not about just changing in one place. You got to make sure that you break down those silos and get that messaging across all the other teams. So analytics can give you that map, but empathy tells you which road to take. And that's why we build continuous listening loops, feedback loops in our campaigns. So both the numbers and the voices of the families shape strategy in real time.
Fantastic. Some organizations still see marketing as a cost center. What have you found most effective in shifting that perception, and what barriers still exist in tying market efforts directly to revenue?
Yeah, I feel like this is something that I have to do on the daily. I've always believed that marketing is positioned as a driver of growth and not a cost center. I say it every time people come in for our Meet the Team Day, our Discovery Day for franchisees. We are directly tied to enrollment and franchise development outcomes, but the challenge is building those brand initiatives like I talked to you about earlier that often take longer to show results. So it's getting out in the market, like letting people know that you're here. But people in other departments are wondering where the immediate ROI is. So they're looking for how many, you did a billboard, how many enrollments did that give me? Well, people just need to learn who we are first. So you want to reframe that brand building as a long-term revenue driver. So having that consistent messaging, parent and franchisee trust that we're building, the thought leadership, they aren't just nice to have. They really lay that foundation and for sustainable growth. So it's important. We build credibility by tying campaigns directly to the pipeline, not just top of the funnel, but by partnering closely with sales and finance, so other departments, so it's visible across the company. In franchise marketing, we report on quality leads and intro calls rather than just volume. So we don't want to just live in our silo. We want to make sure that even though we're only responsible for driving leads, technically on paper, we care about how those leads go into the pipeline and what it's doing for the sales team and overall success of the company. So at the end of the day, I have to repeat this over and over again, but marketing is not a cost center. It's a growth engine that fuels revenue velocity. I preach that to anyone who will listen to me. I need a button that I can hit that says that, actually.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah,
And it has a huge impact over time too, right? I mean,
it
each
does.
stage of the funnel is vital, right, to the
Yeah.
longevity of a business.
Exactly. And it's people's livelihoods too. I mean, that I work with, it's my coworkers. Like I want to make sure that what I'm delivering at the top of the funnel is helping to go all the way to
Mm.
award. And, so it's very important. The schools are successful. It's all I love being in marketing because I think it's just natural that we're empathetic and care about all those stages. So
Yeah, and the impact is real, right? Not just
it's-
on you, the company, your teams, internally, externally, all the way
absolutely.
down to the child, right? That you're
Yes.
serving.
The little kids. They're so
Yeah,
cute.
little people.
Sure.
From your perspective, what's the biggest challenge in getting your CRM, lead management, and sales tools working in harmony? And how has that impacted campaign performance?
The biggest challenge with CRM workflow and RevOps integration is breaking down silos, like what this whole thing is about.
Yeah.
Marketing automation, CRM, and franchise development systems don't often talk or speak the same language, and it creates workflow gaps and inconsistent experiences for families and franchise prospects here. When the tools do work together, the impact is immediate. So we see faster lead nurturing, more personalized communication, and stronger franchisee engagement, which is super important. The real friction point isn't usually the technology itself, it's inconsistent data. So whenever IT wants to build something, they're always like, well, what data do we have to put in there? Like people just think, poof, and a report can appear. So there's a lot of misalignment across teams that can cause friction there. What we're doing here to try to prevent some of that is we've built a lead scoring into our school dashboard. So marketing, franchisees, and the enrollment center are all working together from the same playbook and can see how the potentials, we call them potentials, are doing. This shared visibility extends to our agency partner too, which means everyone's looking at the same data that's coming in. So beyond transparency, we use that information to evaluate both the quality of leads and the calls. And we can double down on like the lead sources that are performing and bringing the strongest prospects, and then cut out the ones that aren't driving results. So we don't burn out the people in the enrollment center, with all the leads that are coming in that aren't quality. So performance doesn't break because of technology. It breaks in the spaces where people, processes, and platforms aren't aligned.
Yeah, right.
Which
And
can
that
be very
openness.
challenging.
Oh, yes, I agreed. That openness and transparency that that you share the details and information across, all the teams is vital, right?
Yeah, and I would say we're pretty lucky here because we work in the office every day. I don't know if everybody would call that lucky, but we have to come to an office 5 days a week. So I really encourage my team, get up, go in the other room. They're right across the hall. Like, I think it's really helped to create synergy and alignment here because we are all in the same office every day, which is unusual.
Yeah, you kind of miss that water cooler talk, right? When you're working hybrid
we have it.
Or remote.
We got the water cooler talk. So, yeah.
Yeah, you learn a lot, right? And have that opportunity to connect and on a much different level when you're there in person.
It really is.
We're going to talk about building high performance teams next, or my question is related to that. What's your approach to developing marketing talent so they not only hit performance goals, but also stay engaged and inspired? And where do you see leaders struggling to retain top talent?
I would say, building high performing teams, it goes beyond hitting goals. It's really about, are you a culture fit? And making sure, we talk about love languages all the time in marketing because I think we're just, like I said, more empathetic, sympathetic people. So recognizing people and giving those things that they need that gives them energy. Those are really important. And here we really focus. I mentioned We Grow People Big and Small earlier, which is our mission. And it's really about like creating those growth pathways for employees, and everybody can have one. If you go into our HR department and tell them, that you want to be the president of this company, they will make a path. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, but they will make a path for you to get there. And really proud to work for a company that does that, because I've worked at other places that don't offer that. And we actually just won an award, the Most Innovative Employee Retention Award from Franchise Update Media. We received that back in June, and really proud. And that really goes to our career pathways that I just talked about, giving a scalable format for team members to have personalized growth plans. We meet on a monthly basis about our personalized growth plans. So making sure that you're giving people the path to stay with you is really important. I think that's where other companies may falter. It's like you get the people in the door, but then what's their path. I mean, I've had to leave multiple jobs because I don't see a growth. Somebody would, I don't want to say somebody would have to die, but I mean, basically it's like, here they'll create positions, which is great. So I think it's all about that.
Well, congratulations on that award. That is
Thank
huge.
you.
And I do remember when we had your CEO on our other podcast, and he talked about that quite a bit. And you really do honor growing people big and small at Celebree.
We really do. And that's our rally cry. And that's what we say it constantly. And it is true. And it's uncommon.
Yeah.
I feel like. So, and we have a lot of people that come here that stay here for a very long time. And I think that's a testament to staying true to that value.
Yeah. And your culture. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That culture. So when you think about the role marketing plays in your company's future, how do you feel about the role of purpose and empathy in creating genuine resonance, connecting with people in a way that reflects your company's core values?
I believe purpose and empathy sit at the heart of meaningful marketing. They create resonance that goes far beyond transactions. This shows up in the way we make sure families feel their children are seen, safe, and celebrated in every touch point. This is kind of like what I was talking about earlier today about the creating super fans. Like, we really care about everybody's journey here. And so we're trying to get in those little touches that let people know you're valued. And I think it's super important. This helps build trust, and it's a differentiator when you're thinking about long-term growth. Marketing should reflect values, not just propositions. Today's customers expect brands to stand for something. And when you lead with purpose, you deepen trust and loyalty. For example, when we share franchisee stories, we don't just talk about ROI. We highlight their impact on their communities. That's why people come to us. They want to make an impact on their community. They want to leave a legacy. And that message really resonates not only with, franchisees, but with parents. And, it's just a really great story. And we have some wonderful people that have, attend our schools, and wonderful people that are our franchisees. And why not share their stories so people can see themselves in those people. And, at the end of the day, facts make people think, but empathy make people act.
Yeah, they really do. It does make people act, and it has a ripple effect, right?
It really does.
When you engage with empathy and compassion and care, then people tend to also engage in that way.
You really do. And it starts at the top. I mean, you met Richie on one of your podcasts. You mentioned that, and it really starts with him and how it trickles down. And he, I'm proud to work for him. And I think, people come here and they love his story. And he started when he was really young in his 20s and built this business, and he's been here, 31 years. So I'm proud to work here. And I just think that, it's nice to have a leader like that is just has so much passion for what he does. And it really does trickle down to C-suite and below everybody.
Yeah. Our CEO, Steven Sakash, is the same way. I also feel honored to work for him because, one of our core values is empathy and compassion.
It's the best.
Thank you so much, Laura. It was an honor to have you as a guest on the Marketing with Purpose Kit series on the Bliss Business Podcast. I hope today's conversation sparked new ideas for our listeners on how you can align strategy, execution, and purpose in your own work. If you found value in this discussion, like, subscribe, and share it to keep the conversation going. And remember, great marketing doesn't just sell, it serves. See you next time.